back on US soil and ready to engage at the UN General Assembly.
An opportunity to interact with leaders around the world.
An interaction might be all he gets with Donald Trump. A sit-down meeting with the president has not yet been scheduled.
This is summit season, so there'll be a range of other events.
Australia has now formally submitted its new 2035 climate target. The range of between 62 and 70% was recommended by the Climate Change Authority. But the minister was keen to clarify he's not necessarily adopting the expert body's recommended pathway to get there. That includes electric vehicles making up half of all new car sales over the next decade, and renewables powering more than 90% of the energy grid, up from the 2030 aim of 82%.
What's the 2035 target for renewables?
Well, we haven't set a particular target.
It cannot tell the Australian people where the energy is going to come from.
Chris Bowen does have a target this week, though, to win the right to host next year's Global Climate Summit with the Pacific. To do so, Turkey needs to pull out of the race.
We have discussions with our Turkish friends this week. We have overwhelming support for our bid.
The Prime Minister will also join the leaders of France, Canada and the United Kingdom this week in formally recognising Palestinian statehood. But in an open letter to the leaders, US Republicans have criticised the move and warned it could lead to punitive measures.
On climate change and Palestinian recognition, Anthony Albanese is at odds with Donald Trump, part of the Prime Minister's more independent foreign policy approach. He'd certainly welcome a sit-down meeting with the President while he's here, but is also preparing the ground for the likelihood that won't happen. His ministers are pointing out the Australia-US relationship is doing just fine, with or without a Trump meeting. David Speers, ABC News, New York.
The UN General Assembly meets this year as major conflicts rage in the Middle East, Europe and Africa. Yet the body set up after World War II to resolve just such disputes is itself besieged.
The United States of America will vote against the draft resolution and urges delegations to join us in voting against it.
The draft resolution has not been adopted.
Its biggest financial backer, the United States, has slashed its funding, and this week it once again blocked a resolution for a ceasefire in Gaza. But the UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly in support of a roadmap for a two-state solution led by France and Saudi Arabia.
If you go back 3 or 4 months, diplomats were not confident that any country was actually going to put up their hand and recognise Palestine at this event.
The General Assembly also showed its support for Palestine by agreeing to let Palestinian President Abbas attend virtually after the US refused to grant him a visa. Attention in New York is focused on what Mr. Trump will say about the future of multilateral diplomacy.
Everyone will be listening to see if he has really any good words to say about the UN and international cooperation.
Big US funding cuts are already having a serious impact on the UN's aid and peacekeeping operations, and there are fears autocrats around the world will exploit the situation to cut back on scrutiny of human rights abuses.